Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Things are moving a little slowly on my end here, but hi, if you see me, if you hear me, please holler at a player. Let me know that I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and I am on YouTube. Let's see. For some reason, this is wanting to give me some trouble. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know. Am I in the right place? Yes. Oh, goodness. I don't know what's happening. Someone confirm me. Confirm me. Because I'd like, oh, goodness. Rookie mistake. I see what's happening. Okay, now, at this point, now, in this moment, yes, now you should see me. See me everywhere. Once again, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am on YouTube. And rookie mistakes have been made. But we're back. We're here. Here we are. Hello. Hi. If you have never seen, I am Tenille, and I help women who've been diagnosed with lupus or other chronic illnesses go from confused and discouraged to healed, hopeful, and in control of the medical narrative. Share this because people have hit me up for the last hour telling me that I'm not on, and I know. Do you know why? Because I wrote it in the description that I would not be on until 1 o'clock. I love y'all so much, and I appreciate y'all so much, and I love that you look out for me and make sure that I'm on. However, please read the description box when I post a flyer that says my podcast is going to start not at a regular time because we accommodate our guests here, okay? I want to make sure y'all are getting the most value possible. So it's not going to always be me and my schedule. It's going to be what my guests can do, you know? So today we are on with an amazing soul, and I'm excited to talk to and about her. Hi from Facebook. Hello. Hi from Instagram. Thank you so much for the comments. I'm going to remind you at the end also. Remember, I have a masterclass coming. It is on the 10th of December. Do you know it's already December? It's December right now. It is. I posted like how many days ago? I posted a few days ago. I can't remember now. But it is 4 steps to conquer diagnosis through designing your life. We are designing your life. You and I, okay? This is not up to chance. This is not like, well, maybe the disease will let me. No, we will be designing our lives because 2025, we're about to get it. 2024 was rehearsal. 2024 was, doing a little thing, figuring something out. There's a new thing coming in 2025. We are not playing, okay? So if you are ready to be all the way committed to a beautiful, blessed, audacious, big old life for 2025, be on that masterclass. Register. All the links will be everywhere. Inbox me if you can't find it. It's in my description on Instagram. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere. If you need it, I will send it to you. Let me know. And anyhow, today we have my new friend. I met her at the Lupus Summit the other day, and after the Lupus Summit, we did a Friendsgiving so we can get to know people. And she was already getting talked up by our mutual friend, like, oh, you got to meet Sammy. She's amazing. Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, cool. And when I met her, I was like, okay, everything they said is correct. She is just tiny, but mighty and lively and wonderful and just a warrior in every sense of the word. And I can't wait for you to meet her. So welcome to the stage, Sammy.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, be here. Okay, so just because they didn't get the chance to meet you like I did because I'm special, could you please let the audience know who are you, where are you from, and what do you do? Lay it all on us, girl.
Yes, so I am Semi, obviously. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, and I recently started up my own company called Light for Lupus. And I've pretty much just been advocating for lupus awareness, but more in particular for the children. Kind of want to help them find their voice throughout this journey. So it's been interesting, but I love it so far.
Yeah. So how did you start with your lupus journey? So when were you diagnosed? How long have you been a lupus warrior?
Oof. I have had lupus for about 10 years now. I found out right after I turned 21. Didn't know what was happening with me. I had a lot of chest pains and I was feeling just lethargic. I thought I had the flu, honestly. And I was just like, something is not right. And I thought I can deal with it at home. So I tried to wait it out. And I think I waited a little too long because by the time I went to the hospital, it had already escalated. And they were just like, why did you wait so long, girl? And I was like
everything starts with flu-like symptoms.
Yes.
If you look up any disordered disease, it's like flu-like symptoms. Okay, so how we know we don't have the flu? It's a flu-like symptom.
Right.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, it was definitely not the flu at all.
Yeah.
I had a lot of chest pains.
Diagnosed? Like what did they say?
I had a lot of chest pains. And actually, I'm kind of grateful that my diagnosis journey kind of happened quick because some people it can take quite some time for them to get an actual like what's going on, but mine started with a lot of chest pains. They did a lot of scans to kind of see what was happening, and they saw that I had fluid building up around my heart. So when the doctors went in to drain the fluid, I ended up having a collapsed lungs, and they found out that I after disclosing that I had like juvenile rheumatoid arthritis as a kid, they were like, oh, okay. So it's something autoimmune here happening. And everything came back positive for whatever they were looking for with lupus. It just kind of everything started falling into place. So
let's talk about the lung. Because when you told this story before, like when you were explaining this before, that resonated with me so much. So that was the first time you ever had your lung drained, right?
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened like that, right? It was fluid out your heart, but it was your lung that burst. So a lot of people don't know the process. Like, so you're in pain, you're feeling terrible, and you signed the waivers, right? You signed those waivers. And the waivers say, if anytime we pop your lungs, bippity boppity boopity, it's not our fault.
Oh yeah, they said we're gonna do this small procedure to drain this little bit of fluid in the event that something happens, which it probably won't. Just sign here so you can't sue us. And my mom signed there, and they came back and was like, so when we told you that small chance something can go wrong, it went wrong. And she's on life support though, but she's a fighter. She's young, she can fight. And everyone's
it's
just
funny, but it's funny because when you talk about it, like it's barely possible. What are you talking about? And then when it happens, yes, I had 1.5 liters of fluid taken off my lungs, and they basically were like, "Oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right." And I'm crying, but they're like, "Don't move, because we'll pop a lung. Don't move." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. I think because of the stress that my body was under, it just was too much. Because with my lupus, I don't really have a lot of, I don't have any other organ issues. Like I don't have the kidneys. I don't really get the skin. Mine pretty much is always targeted around my heart and my lungs. So every time I go, we have to check to make sure there's no fluid building up. We have to make sure there isn't any irritation around the lining of the lungs. That's kind of my triggers. That's my lupus happy place, is those major areas that we really need. So,
Yes. Okay. So after that first, how did your life change? What happened after that? Like you went home from the hospital, and what did they tell you?
Well, I'm really hard-headed. I was like, I didn't realize how bad it was until I tried to stand up and I realized my legs didn't work. I didn't realize how bad it was until I tried to pull my hair up, and I literally couldn't, because I had been in the bed. I didn't know that weeks had passed by. I'm thinking, oh, this is within the same week. They're like, it's not even the same month. Oof. But my family, my mom and dad, they didn't want me to know how serious it was, because every time I would see like a random person come in to visit me, I'm like, what are they doing here? I haven't seen this person. And so, you know, they tried to keep me out of the loop as much as possible. But when you wake up and your arms are attached to the bed because you're trying to pull out tubes, you're kind of like, okay, what's happening? Right. So I didn't realize that I was out for so long. So going home was really difficult because I had to have a lot of like physical therapy to build up that strength. But I don't think people realize that not only physical therapy was needed, but mental health therapy was also needed as well, because I didn't understand how drastic my life was about to change once I left that hospital.
Yeah. So everything you were in there for weeks and you didn't realize you were in there for weeks. Like were you out?
Yeah, I was out. I was basically in a medically induced coma. I wasn't even in the same hospital. The hospital that I originally went to basically said, oh yeah, we're going to get her checked in. Just don't worry. And then they woke my mom up and was like, hey, we got to go. She has to go to Atlanta. We're not equipped to handle what's about to happen here. But so by then, now I'm transferred. I am completely gone. I had no idea any of this had happened because my heart rate kept rising, and it was just like, we don't need her to know what's going on right now.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just a lot.
You got diagnosed and immediately they popped your lung, and then you were in the hospital for.
Yeah, it was just like bam, bam, bam. Everything just, you know, so I don't think that, like I said, therapy was definitely needed. Because like I said, I had to gain my strength back up again. I had to just learn a whole new way of living, because the medication they gave you, I didn't know that prednisone was going to make all of my clothes too small and water retain weight, all this stuff. There were so many changes I had to do. Medications I was taking made me sick. It was just.
Yeah. And you've never, so when you had arthritis as a kid, but you, other than that, you had never been sick before, like sick. Okay. That's a thing that people really don't understand or realize, that once you are bedridden for even a week or more, your muscles all atrophy. They all get smaller. They shrink up because you don't need them. If you don't use it, you lose it. Is legit. And that is especially if you are laying down and doing nothing. Like if you are not feeling well already, and then they tell you to just rest, but then on top of that, they're poking and prodding your body, and all of these chemicals are flying around in your body that like aren't normal for a resting body. You're fighting for your life. You're exhausted from that. Right. And then you try to get up and don't realize how weak you could be. Right. Yeah. So even if you are in a hospital bed right now and something is wrong with you and you have any capability at all, do little arm raises, little leg raises, bend your knees, do things to keep active in that bed. After the first time I was ever bedridden for a long time, I never let days go by where I don't move. If I'm at all possible able to move, like I will move, because that recovery is not only, like she just said, not only physically taxing, it is mentally taxing, because your mind is like, yeah, I can do this. Why can't I do this? And it just feels so defeating. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it was that. And that's still been adjustment to this day, even though that happened 10 years ago, because I didn't properly, because I fired my little nurses that came home. I was like, I got this. I can lift these cans. I can do something. And I didn't realize that even though so much time has passed, I didn't properly build my lungs up the way that they needed to be built up. So now I've gotten used to breathing shallow, I guess you should say. To me, it's my normal though, because this is all I've known for. This is what I've been accustomed to. So when I am going through a flare up and now I have the inflammation around my lungs, that compressed breathing that I've already been doing is even more compressed. So now I'm breathing like throughout the week, just from walking to my bed to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't know why. We don't see any fibrosis. There's no scarring. There's no this. They give me lung tests, and they're like, you're failing all of these tests. Why? And then I'm like, well, maybe it had a lot to do with the fact that I didn't get the proper therapy, because like you said, if you don't use those muscles, if that diaphragm isn't being moved the way that it needs to, that too also, it's not being used.
Right. So I know they sent you home with that little machine, because when I had to have all the lung stuff, it's not a machine, it's like a little apparatus that like mine is blue and white.
You have to blow the thing up.
Float. It's like 3 vials with balls that float as long as you're breathing into it correctly. So after I had my lungs, I've come home with that twice. But when they give you that thing, y'all, whoever has had lungs,
use it.
Whenever they give you that thing, use it.
Use it.
You think it's nothing, but if you don't get your lungs accustomed to taking those deep breaths again, you will never get accustomed. I'm not speaking never over your life, Semi, because I think that you can still get there.
Yes.
Probably need to do those breathing exercises. And even like I've been doing hula classes with one of our previous guests. And before we start with the hula, we do like a meditation and breathing exercises. And even just that, like 5 minutes a day, every day, really helps with my lung capacity. It's something so like not, it's subconscious. Like you don't tell your body to breathe, but once you do have to remind your body to breathe, you're so grateful for those muscles in your lungs. And people don't take deep breaths all day, just generally. Like it's not just because Semi had the procedure done on her around her lungs. People walking around regular with nothing wrong with them just breathe shallow because they're always in fight or flight panic mode, and they get used to that. Take a deep breath right now. We're gonna take a breath of 4. Okay, breathe in with me. 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Go. In through your mouth, or in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, out. Thank you very much. Did you take a deep breath with me, please? That was horrible direction, but I know you know what I'm talking about. Take a deep breath of 4, hold it for 4, take a exhale for 4, or however you want to do it. 4 and 4, 4 and 4. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Semi. Talk.
But yeah, coming home with that, I definitely didn't use it. I probably should still use it. It's somewhere around here.
Use it
but
now.
That journey was interesting in itself. And throughout the years, more autoimmune conditions follow with lupus, because what I tell people, lupus is like a pot of gumbo. It's just so many things that are just thrown into that pot. So not only do I have, lupus, there goes the Sjogren's. So I'm having the dry eyes, the dry mouth. I have the Raynaud's, where your fingers are frozen, and the fibromyalgia came. So there's so many other things that came along from this initial diagnosis that took a couple years to, get started. Like with the fibromyalgia, that didn't come until maybe like 5 years ago. And you can definitely tell the difference. Well, I can tell the difference between when I'm having a fibromyalgia flare up, because that is mainly just a chronic pain, illness there. And when I'm experiencing that, it's more so just body wise, nerve and muscle pain. That's like, to me, it's worse than when I experienced the lupus. I can pretty much tell with my lupus, it's, my wrists or fingers are swollen. I get the hot joints, and like I said, the irritation here. But when it's the fibro, it's literally like I cannot sit up in the bed. Like it's really one of those where it's like, okay, can't do it today.
Wow. Okay, we have a question in the chat. I'm gonna read some comments in a minute, but question in the chat: is there a way to have lupus but to still live a positive and striving life, especially going into a new year?
Oh, girl, I do it every day.
Yes, every day.
Lupus is why I live that the way that I do now, because I
Yeah.
always feel like no one knows the time or the day, but I feel like with lupus, my time is a little bit more,
Right.
I have to make the best of it. So I try to take
Mhm.
advantage of my good days, and I have a lot of
Thank
good
you.
days.
Yes.
So
Yes. Okay. We're explaining symptoms and like how life goes right now. That is in no way saying that we don't live phenomenal lives. Okay. If you see either of us walking around, you just be like, oh, okay. Like how they're fine, even though we're not.
yeah.
So tell me a tactic. Like, what do you do every day that's like a non-negotiable that helps you to live this type of positive, like still producing, value for people with your book and with your Instagram and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
What is a step that you take every day that's a non-negotiable?
For me, I have to talk out loud. I'm big on self affirmations because
Mhm.
for me it starts in the mind, which is probably why I was so hard headed when I came home, because the type of mentality my parents instilled into me was, it wasn't like I didn't grow up with having like self pity,
Mhm.
which is, as I said, it kind of hurt me in the end, because it's like I had to actually look at it and say, look, you do have a problem. Like, you have an illness, and it's okay that you have this. We have to learn to, accommodate things. But for me, I was just like, I'm not letting it stop me.
Right.
But you have to understand that sometimes it can stop you, and it's
Mhm.
okay, but you have to keep going. So every day I have to talk out loud and tell myself, all right, we got to get up, we got to go, we got to do this today, because there's
Mhm.
someone else younger than me that's a child that has it way worse.
Mhm.
So, not to take away from whatever I'm dealing with, to say that it's not as severe or not as important because I'm able bodied and whatnot, but it does give me something to be grateful for, because I am able bodied and I
Right.
can do certain things.
Okay, so what I am hearing from you, girl, is your number one uh tactic is to speak life into yourself
Mhm.
every day. And I do the same. I'm on day 637
Yes.
of 1 minute of affirmations on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok, Tenille, so silly on TikTok every night. And the second thing I hear you saying is gratitude, being
Mhm.
grateful for what you have and where you are, even though it's not exactly where you want it to
Mhm.
be. It is better off than so many people, and you could be worse off. So I'm going to read some comments,
Uh-huh.
just to because some of these will be gone, especially Instagram will be gone. Hey, Icon, God bless you. Let's go. Lots of hellos. These are value. These are powerful stories. Thank you. Um, are there environment or geographical or biological markers / relationships with lupus survivors, certain demographic connected behavior relationships to diagnosis? That was so many words. That was so many words. Thank you. Not afraid 333. Yes. So the demographic, it's a lot of minorities have it, like a lot of Black women, specifically women. There are a few men, the percentage is
Mhm.
low. Demographic of geographically, I think we do worse in cold weather. So a lot of loopies I know have the worst like joint pain, and
Mhm.
different elevations encourage clots and that kind of blood clots and that kind of thing. So um the science on it, I feel like I have an episode where I read out the research, but um yes, all those things, yes. Where you live matters, the your like heritage matters. It's like African American are the top, and
Mhm.
then it goes down to, I think, Hispanic women, and then
Mhm.
uh I want to say Indian women, and then white women. So and then men are kind of behind all of that. Um, what else? Somebody said totally. I don't know what you're talking about. It's so hard to blow into those that thing with the balls. I had pneumonia and I had to use that thing. Yes, Nettie. It's annoying, but you got to do it. I'm glad you did it. You are amazing, Jean said. I'm so glad to hear this because I didn't know what lupus was and I thought it was a form of cancer. Whoa. Yes, I'm glad you're here. It is not a form of cancer. We are not with the cancer. RL Wellness DC says, thank you for sharing your story. Lupus happy place resonates. We all have such different experiences. Way to put it. Thank you for your comment. RL Wellness DC. Phenomenal advocating for children. Thank you so much. Always destined for greatness. Yes. Great afternoon. Okay. Great. So we are closing it out. And if there is one thing you want to leave with this audience for inspiration, motivation, or just promoting whatever you're doing, go ahead and do that before we're out of here.
Yeah. So again, you can find me on Instagram at Life for Lupus. I am coming out with more products. I'm waiting to get my book actually approved with Amazon to publish it. It is a picture book explaining to the younger age groups what lupus is in their terms so they can understand it. I am coming out with the workbooks as well so children can understand the terminology that they're going to be hearing, from now until, because I think it's best to learn while we're smaller so that when you're my age, you know how to talk to doctors. But the biggest thing that I want to leave with you guys is for anyone that's, even if you aren't dealing with a chronic illness, learn the difference between pain and discomfort, and don't let doctors tell you how you feel. Stand up for yourself. If you don't want to try a medication, if you want to try different options, do your research. Just because they say, hey, try this, you have the ability to say, no, I don't want it, because I do it all the time. And like I said, I'm doing pretty well, if I must say. I mean, I have my days, but advocate for yourself, because you are the only one that knows how you feel. So that's the biggest thing that I would push to anyone, whether you're young, old, chronic illness or not. Speak up for yourself.
Thank you. Yes, that is such a poignant statement. Like, I love, number one, that you're putting it in books for people to understand from young, because we have grown-ups on here that thought it was a form of cancer. So like, I'm grateful for you for even this needs to happen, for the next generation. And yes, advocate for yourself. I would just replay that part. I would say it again for the people in the back, but I think she said a lot of things. So I'm going to say, replay that part.
Yes.
Do what you need to do to stand up for yourself. If you don't want to take a medication because the side effects are not for you, then don't. They cannot force you. It is your body. And that hit me when you said, know the difference between pain and discomfort. That is very important. Your body gets very sensitive to pain. The more like pain medication you take, the more you don't sit with pain. You're not used to pain. So every little thing might have your body on edge. You're like, oh, I feel something. Don't be afraid to feel things. Pain is a natural part of being alive. It is proof that you are alive. And yes, realize if you are uncomfortable, that's okay. You're not always going to be comfortable. Get through that and see if it's actually
right.
So thank you so much.
Because I didn't know in the beginning. I didn't know between pain and discomfort. I thought I was just uncomfortable, but I was really experiencing shooting pains through my body, and I didn't know. So yeah, just know the two.
Thank you so much for being here, Sunny. Like, this was a really great interview. I appreciate you so much.
Yes.
You guys, thank you for being here. Hopefully I will see you next week on Monday. And furthermore, mark it in your calendar. Okay? Are you going to be at my masterclass? Yes, you will. Yes, you will. It's going to be on a Tuesday. It is the 10th of December. Question mark? Yes. 10th of December, Tuesday. Write it down, set an alarm, register for this masterclass so we can change our lives. That's all. Let's just do it. Let's just get it together. 2025 is our year. Let's make it so, okay? Yeah. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Bye.